raping me because I did not consent to this. Well, have some of this. He's like, it will make you feel good. I just thought that baptism was what I needed. Hello, everyone. We are back today on Whomever Shall Listen podcast to listen to the second half of my testimony. This has been a few weeks since I have posted the first one. It took some processing and it took some, soul searching because the first one was pretty deep. Even for me, sharing the story brings a lot of memories and things that I have to relive. So, asking God for forgiveness and forgiving those who may have hurt me in the process was something I had to do. I look forward to bringing you guys more episodes and just more content on this page. Just bear with me because this is new to me as well. So the second part of my testimony, I will jump in right to my years of being a teenager. At this point, we had returned back to my parents' house. In the last episode, I talked to you guys about how I was in foster care. And my mother did everything in her power to get us back home, and she did. She got us back home, and we were able to return. But instead of being in Fredericksburg, we were now in Seaford. To my recollection, I was in the foster care system for, I believe, 8 months. I know it wasn't a full year that I was in the foster care system because I was going to school, but I wasn't going there long. Speaking of the foster care system, it was pretty tough. I was there with other children who were kind of on the, just doing everything wild. That was the first time I experienced ever having a Christmas, and there was just a lot. My foster parents still took us to church. There was church involved every Sunday. We would go to Bible study and things like that, but the home just wasn't right. I never seen my foster father. He was always working, but they did do right by me. So we returned home to my parents, and as soon as I entered the home that my mother and father just bought, I felt something was there. There was definitely a eerie feeling in that house. There was a presence in that house. I walked in and told my mom immediately, there's a man at the stairs. And I always felt that there was something there all the time. So I go ahead and live my life in that house. And this is my teenage years. So my middle school years were pretty rough. I was really rebellious. I could not find my place in this world. I was dealing with still some resentment in the household. I was a rebellious child because I just did not like the way that the household was even ran. My siblings and I really didn't get along. There was always a lot of fighting. There was always a lot of things happening. And I just remember just always like going through stuff like all the time. So I believe I was about 13, and I went through a lot of bullying in the school. Of course, at this time, you're Haitian. So a lot of Americans did not like Haitians at all. They always told us we smelled like food or we smelled funny. So there was always a lot of teasing. I hated the school. Hated going to school, period. Even walking to school, it was like, I really have to do this today. But it was just a lot that was going on. I could never find my ground with my parents. I could never do anything right. And it was just a lot that was going on. When I was 14 years old, I actually met a boy that was like up the street. He didn't live a few houses down, but he had family members that were a few houses down. And I kind of like became friends with him. We actually became really close. Like we talked all the time. He came over. He always like, he took to me, I took to him. He was really attractive. He was like a star football player at his school. And we just got along, like we clicked, we got along very well. I would sneak him into my mom's house and we would just like have fun and just talk. And nothing really was going on at all. And I really, really liked him. And I remember we were having conversations about my virginity, and I was like, I never done anything like that before. I wouldn't even know what to do, but I had set in my mind that I was going to give him my virginity. I don't know why. That's just what happened. I just set in my mind that I was going to do it. Everyone around me was doing it. I was witnessing friends doing it. Even though I would beg them not to, they were doing it. Everyone was like giving away their virginity. So I guess to fit in, and I felt secure with him. I felt, virginity at the time that I thought I had. I had never had intercourse with anyone besides the person who had molested me. At that time, I didn't even know what was going on. So I thought I was still virgin. And, so everyone around me was, doing it. So I met this guy. We were, getting along. He was like my best friend. And I decided that I was going to. I expressed to him that I liked him. He expressed to me that he liked me too. And for weeks, we kind of like contemplated on like how we were going to do it. I was just too scared. But one day I just decided that we were going to. So mind you, I'm still going through a lot with my parents. My dad is still, beating me. It wasn't like beatings, but it was like a lot of punishment going on. I would be sent to my room for weeks, wouldn't be able to come out. He would never talk to us. He would never talk to me. I would have to literally write letters to my dad to communicate with him. That was the only way that I could communicate with my dad, was through letters. And I was kind of like dealing with a lot. And then I was tired of it too. I remember I had got into it with this one girl, and she came and she told on me, and my dad came to the computer where I was at, and he just started punching on me. I had a busted lip, a black eye, and I was just like tired of it. So my friend down the street was like my escape route. He was nice to me. He talked to me. I just felt comfortable with him. I felt safe. So fast forwarding to the day that I decide that I'm going to, give him my virginity. Well, I'm still nervous, and we go to his uncle's or cousin's house, which is literally 2 doors down from my house. And we decide that this is so crazy, because I would have never done this now in my years. I would have never gave it up like that. We went into this back room. He put some blankets down, and I didn't know what to do. I still had my clothes on, and I just kind of and I had my eyes. So we started, and I had my eyes closed the whole time because I just did not know what to do. I had my eyes closed the whole time. So while my eyes are closed and it's happening, but I still don't understand what's happening, because this is like, for me, my first time. So I decide to open my eyes, and when I open my eyes, his uncle is on top of me. Yes, his uncle is on top of me. So I'm just like shocked. So I smack his uncle, and and push him off of me. I see my best friend in the corner, and I'm just like, I slap him, and he grabs my arm like, hey, and I'm like, you're saying, hey, you're basically raping me, because I did not consent to this. And at this point, I'm completely ashamed. So I grab my things and I run to the bathroom, and I just quiver and hide in the bathroom, because at this point, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm in the house with these men. I feel like I've been set up. I knew I was having intercourse with him, And then I open my eyes and there's this grown man on top of me. Mind you, I'm 14 years old and there's this grown man on top of me. And I just go into the bathroom and I just start to cry and I'm weeping. This happens, and there was another guy in the room also when this happened. So it was three of them in a room. This is just so terrible. So the other guy that was in the room, he hears me crying in the bathroom. I hear a bunch of commotion outside of the bathroom, and people are arguing, and what's going on. People are trying to figure out like what has happened. And the other guy, we're gonna call him Fred. And Fred comes in the bathroom where I'm at, and I'm just crying and sobbing because I'm like, I'm scared at this point. I've, had sex. My parents are beating me at home. I can't go home now because look what I've experienced. And he kind of takes to me. He's like, I'm so sorry. Fred's like, I'm so sorry this happened. He should have never done that. I apologize for him, and I hope that, you can forgive him. He's just like, talking to me. Mind you, I'm like 13 at this time. And he's just like, talking to me, and, he's saying, are you okay? And stuff like that. And he's like, just, come out of the bathroom. And I'm like, no, I don't want to come out the bathroom. I'm scared. I don't want to come out the bathroom. And so he kind of like sits in the bathroom with me or whatever. And so he's sitting in the bathroom with me, and I decide that he's like, come with me, come for a ride with me. I'll take you somewhere safe. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm scared now. I know that I have just done this, and if I go home, my parents know I was here. If I go home, something's bad's going to happen. I'm convinced at this point that what I have done is going to get me killed. So I'm not going back home. This is the first time like I actually run away, because I was like, I cannot go back home. So there had been other periods in the time where I would like skip school and stuff like that, but I would always, come back home. I would spend time at a friend's house. I just never wanted to go back home because there was always things happening. I was always on punishment. I was always getting beat. I was always getting cursed at. It was just not a good place. So I always was trying to find refuge in like friends and different things. So Fred decides that, hey, let me take you. I'll take you go get something to eat. And I'm like, okay. So mind you, at this time, my parents aren't taking us to fast food. They're not doing all those things. So I'm like, okay. He's like, let me take you to McDonald's, get you something to eat so you can calm down. We'll, get you calmed down, and, I'll take care of you or whatever. I'm like, okay. So he takes me out the bathroom. My best friend is still there. I can't even look at him at this point because I'm just like, how could you have done this to me? And then the other guy, I'm just not looking at him because I'm feeling unsafe at this point. So I decide to go with Fred to get something to eat because he's convinced me that this is not going to happen again to me or whatever. Fred is way older than me. Mind you, I don't really know their ages, but I know that they're older than me. So, so Fred takes me and we go and get something to eat. But when he's driving, he's like, oh, so do you want to go back home? And I'm just like, I'm scared. I don't want to go back home. My dad's going to kill me. This is what's going to happen. And he's like, okay, well, I'll take you to my house. So I'm like, your house. So mind you, this experience that happened, he's pretty much came and like swooped me up and taking me, and he's being nice to me, he's talking to me, he's telling me how beautiful I am and all of these things. So he takes me to his house. Mind you, this is the same day that I think I lose my virginity. So I was having intercourse with one guy, opened my eyes to another guy, and then now I'm with Fred. So Fred takes me to his house, and he pulls out this white bag of stuff, And he's like, how do you feel? And I just don't feel good. I just feel, I'm scared. And he's like, well, have some of this. So I'm like, what is this? And he says, it's, if we know it, a white bag substance, what it is, we know what it is. It was that. It starts with a C. So I'm like, I've never done anything like this before. I don't know what this is. And he's like, it will make you feel good. It will make you feel good and relax. You won't think about anything. You'll feel good. And he shows me how to do it. He breaks it up, puts lines on the table, and he rolls up a dollar bill, or no, it was like if I can remember, it was like $100 bill. And he rolls it up and he does it and he shows me how to do it. So I'm like, okay, so I do it after him. The very first hit of it, I was just like, oh my God, this can't be, what is this? And that was the first time I was actually introduced to any type of drug, which was the C word. I'm not sure if I can say it on this platform. So I just want to be careful because I don't want to get canceled before I get started. So that was my very first time even doing anything. I was 14 is when all of this was happening. It was such a long time ago. But so I basically ran away from home at this point. I'm with this grown man. He has introduced me to C, and at this point we do this drug, and I'm numb. I don't know what's going on or whatever. So at this point we're at his house, and he takes me to the room, and he's like, you know what you were doing earlier, can you do that with me? And I was just like, I just didn't know what to do. At this point, I'm feeling like I am forced to do things. I'm not feeling safe. I can't go home. I'm lost at this point. I'm lost. I feel I just feel all kinds of things at this point, and I'm just like, okay. So we go into the room, and he starts to have intercourse with me. Mind you, I still don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of like yelling out because it still is very painful. And he's just like, hey, this grown man is like, hey, try not to yell. You're making too much noise. And I'm just like, so this happens. All right. So that was the very first time that I lost my V, that I knew that I had, my virginity that I knew that I had. And this is what I experienced the very first time. So fast forward to this, and at this point, I'm not going back home. He has taken me under his wing. He is taking care of me. He's putting me in hotel rooms. He's just kind of like keeping me away from my parents' house. My parents are looking for me. They're on a hunt. They got the whole church out. They got the police involved. They are looking for me. And most of the time, I was 2 doors down from my parents' house. I would actually see my dad come home from work, and I was in this house with them, and I was on drugs the whole time. The whole time. That was the first time I had ever done any drugs at 14. It was the first time I ever drank any alcohol. He introduced me to the cocaine. That was the only 2 things that I was doing. But he introduced me to all of that. Even when I would bleed, he would say, oh, don't do it on your period. You're going to bleed a lot. So he kind of like showed me that he cared for me, but he took care of me and told me that he loved me, and he just but on the same time, I'm 14 years old and he's this grown man. So I can say that looking back on it, I felt protected. I felt like I was taken care of. I felt like he wasn't going to let anything happen to me. I felt like I was safe, even though I was doing all these things, he was still protecting me. So I was still running away from my parents' house. I had not gone back. And I'm going to say I've probably been gone for I'm gonna say almost 2 months I was gone, and my parents were still searching for me. And he actually, he said, you can't stay here anymore. I was at his house, and he was like, you can't stay at my house anymore. So he actually took me to a woman that I know now, that I know now. I used to call her my mom, and he took me to her house, and he brought me inside, and he told her, hey, can she stay here with you? I'll pay you to let her stay here. And she's like, yeah. It was a white woman. She had like 3 kids at this time. And basically, she was like, yeah, she can watch my kids. I was like a living babysitter at this point. So I'm staying with her for a few months, but my parents are still looking for me. At this point, the cops just deemed me a runaway, and they're still on the lookout, but I'm hiding. I'm not going to school. I'm not going outside. I'm not doing anything. I'm just in this house with her and watching her kids. And she took care of me. She took care of me. She cooked for me. She showed me how to cook. Her kids loved me. I loved her. I loved her kids. Till this day, I still love her because when I was there with her, she never did me wrong. She just took care of me like I was her child. Even though I was this runaway on the street, she took care of me like I was her child. So in the meantime, I'm still doing drugs. I'm meeting other friends that are doing drugs. I'm still with Fred. At this point, Fred has made me his girlfriend, and that's my man. But Fred also has a whole wife that I don't know about. So I'm getting into altercations, mind you. At this point, I'm still 14, getting into altercations with this grown woman over this man. These things are happening. I'm on cocaine, and I'm telling you, I'm doing it every day. Every day that I'm with Fred, I'm doing it. He's picking me up from where I'm living at, from her house, and we're going out, we're partying every weekend. This is something. I'm 14, and I'm doing lines and lines and lines of cocaine every day. But at this point, I'm only with Fred. The friend that I thought was my friend, I'm not talking to him anymore, whatever. No one can pretty much do anything to me. Fred is my protector. Fred is, running the city. No one can do anything to me. At this point, I find out that Fred is this big time kingpin. Didn't even know. He's this big time kingpin. Everyone fears him. No one plays with him. And I'm his little shorty. This happens, and my parents are still looking for me. And the social services actually gets involved. So my mom, the woman I'm calling my mom, she gets into some trouble with social services, and now social services is at her house. They find out I am a runaway, and they threaten her that if I don't leave her house, they're going to take her kids, because there's other things happening with her kids as well. So she's like, hey, you're going to have to go home. And at this point, I'm kind of like living this life that I think is the best life. I don't have to go to church. I don't have parents yelling at me. I don't have these things happening. I don't have to go to school. But I still knew my parents was looking for me, but I was still afraid to go home. So I eventually decide, okay, I'm going to go home because I don't want to risk her losing her kids too, because I'm in her house. So I decide to go home. And I remember that walk all the way home. At this point, I've been gone for at least 4 or 5 months. So there's a lot of things that have happened in these 4 or 5 months that I've been gone. And I decide that I'm going to go home. And I remember that long walk home. The things I thought I was going to experience, were my parents going to be happy to see me? Were they going to beat me? Were they going to send me to Haiti? I didn't know. But I went home. I went home and I knocked on the door. I remember my mom opened the door. My mom opened the door. And when she opened the door, she was like, oh, She wasn't happy to see me. She wasn't happy to see me. My siblings weren't happy to see me. My father wasn't happy to see me. No one was happy to see me. But I knew that's what I was going to be running into. I knew I wasn't going to be running into open arms or safe haven. I knew I wasn't going to be. I knew it. So I returned home. My mom has a long talk with me. My dad barely says anything to me. And I just go to my room. That was my room. That was now my sister's room. And I am there. Still just wanting to just like not be there. But I am there. So I returned there. Of course, in the Haitian culture, if there's problems in your household, everybody in the world knows what's going on in your house. Especially when you have a mother like mine who was telling all of your business to everyone. But I believe it was with love because she was just trying to find her daughter. So, of course, we go to church and the church is praying for me. And I can say the church members were happy to see me. I remember them rejoicing on the microphone, saying that God has brought me home, and that was a good feeling. But I was still kind of under all of these strongholds. I had been doing so much drugs, and I had all this freedom, and now I'm back to this church and everything like that. So I'm there with my parents, and for a few years, I'm 14, 15, going on 16, and I'm doing right. I'm trying to live the right way. I'm still having these, problems. I'm still like, going out with my friends, not coming home, but I decide at 15 years old that I'm going to give my life to Christ. Now looking back at it, everyone was getting baptized, and I wanted to do that too. I was in my room just praying and singing, and I just knew I had to give my life to Christ. And I ran downstairs and was like, Dad, I think I'm saved. I want to get baptized. Because it just seemed like the right thing to do. It seemed like the right thing to do. It seemed like it was the right thing to do for me to get baptized. Maybe I could change. Maybe I could be a better daughter. Maybe I could be a better sister. Like, I just thought that baptism was what I needed. So I'm preparing to get baptized. I finally get baptized, and the battles get worse after this. After this, I get baptized. Me and my sister and some other friends in the church, we've created the singing group, and we are singing in every church. You talk about group melody is what we were called. We were called group melody. And the sounds that were coming out of our mouths, we were top notch. Mind you, in my last video, I said that my dad, he taught me how to sing, and I was singing with my dad. So my vocals was definitely there. So we had this singing group and everything like that. And, things start to happen throughout my life. I'm dealing with all of these demonic feelings. I'm still kind of like running away. I'm fornicating, and I'm still doing all of these things after I get baptized. I'm smoking pot with my friends, skipping school. I'm doing all of these things, but I'm still trying to stay in this group. So I have like two faces. I'm living this one life, but in church, I'm acting like I'm this other person, because this is what I had to do to kind of like please my parents. So in order for me to be on their good side, this is what I had to do. Things happened in the group where we actually got in some discord. Some girls came to the church wanting to fight one of the girls, and of course Roza, she's still in the streets, so we took it to the streets on church property. So now we've been banned from every church. We are not allowed to sing, and I pretty much this has pretty much happened. So of course I'm feeling like lost because the group was holding me to be in the church. To be honest with you, that was like my thing. It was like, okay, this was hoping. So once that happened and I got banned from these churches, and I pretty much had taken all the blame for the things that had happened. People were pointing their fingers at me because of my past. I decided to run away again. I ran away again, and I go back to my so-called mom's house, and I go back there. At this point, my mom knows where I'm at. I'm only there for a few weeks, and they come and find me. I have to go back. So I go back to my parents' house. I get into it with my sister. We're fighting because at this point they're looking at me like I'm the bad seed, and they're fighting me all the time in the house. We're not getting along. Me and my sister get in this really bad fight to the point where my mom was like, I don't want her in my house. My mom was always kicking me out of the house. My dad, never, but my mom was always kicking me out of the house. So me and my sister get into this bad fight, and my mom is like, I don't want her around my child. You got to get rid of her. So my dad I start to live with my dad's best friend and his wife. Hated it there too. I just couldn't I couldn't live up to their standard. I had already experienced like all of these things in the world, and I just could not live up to their standard. Here I am in this house, it's cold, there's no one there. I'm still seen as this outcast. They lived good with me. They lived good with me till this day. I still thank them. They lived good with me, but there was no love in that house either. So there was no way I was going to be able to stay there. So I run away from there too. Run away from there. I go back to my so-called mom's house. Cops find me. And at this point, my dad's best friend's like, yeah, she can't stay here. She's not doing, whatever. So my parents decide they're going to send me to New York. They send me to New York, and to my uncle's house in New York City. They send me to my uncle's house. He is a pastor, and they think he convinces them that if I go and stay there, I'm going to straighten up. No, sir. So they send me to New York. So at this point, I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling like nobody wants me. Like, they're sending me here, they're sending me there. They're like thinking that other people can help me, but in all reality, I needed my parents to help me. You know what I mean? So they sent me to New York, and the very first week that I was in New York, I was so sick. I believe I had the flu, but I was so sick. And the first week that I was there, I was so sick that I couldn't even like walk. And they actually didn't even like take care of me. I was sleeping on the floor, like in the closet, so sick. And not one person came to my aid. Mind you, my mom thinks that she's going to send me to New York to my uncle's house and they're going to straighten me up. That was like the worst. That was one of the worst experiences of my life. Like, besides everything that was happening to me, like to know that you're going to be with family and they just let you sleep in this closet, not even make you soup, buy you food or anything. I remember like struggling to get up to go to the bathroom, and no one paid me any mind ever. That was like it was pretty bad. I'm in New York. My parents are coming to visit us, to visit me, to make sure that, everything is good. We took plenty of trips to New York before. But this I'm going to school in New York, and I'm just going through a lot. I'm experiencing bullying in the school. I'm in this church where their religion was on a different level. It was like you couldn't do anything. By this time, people kind of like knew like what I had been doing, Because in the Haitian community, they will talk about you. They will talk about you. They will tell all your business. No one will, like you. They'll keep their kids from you. You're not allowed to make friends, things like that. But, they tried to help me. Even, my dad paid to get me piano lessons, but it wasn't good in that house. Like, it was just bad. My aunt, she would, take me to go get my hair done and things like that, but it just wasn't a good environment for me to stay in. It was a lot of like fighting and arguing. It was just a lot of that going on. I was never happy there. I wasn't happy in the school. I wasn't happy there. I was kind of like seen as an outcast. I was told that I had demons. I was told that when I was sick, I was told that it was a demon that was in me. My uncle was just really mean to me. It was terrible. So my dad came to visit one day, and I just cried to my dad, like, please, please, please let me come home. Like, I do not like it here at all. So at this point, things are not going good in this house. They're like, hey, come get your daughter, because I'm in this house and I cannot stand it. And I'm just not giving them any type of respect or any authority over me. So they're like, come and get her. I don't think she's going to change. I had this bully at school, and she used to bully me so bad. And I remember I had like $20, and I gave her that $20, and she was like, oh, if you give me this every week, I won't mess with you. I'm like, okay, maybe we could do that. So, and she was like, talking about, there was a lot of gang activity in the school. I mean, there was times that I was mistaken for someone else and people trying to fight me. Like, those things were happening. So at this point, I'm like stealing money from my aunt to pay this bully. And I get caught stealing money from my aunt to pay this bully. And I remember breaking down to my aunt, and I told her why I was stealing the money. And she was like, why didn't you tell me? And I was just like, I was scared. I didn't know if you would believe me or not. So at this point, they're like, come and get your kids. So my parents come and pick me up from New York, and we travel back home. Oh my gosh, we go back home, and it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad there. My siblings, terrible. I could not get along with them to save my life. I'm fighting with my older sister all the time. Things are just not good. And I couldn't stay there. So I run away again. And my woman that I called my mom, she's still living in the same spot. So mind you, this is a lot going on in a 3-year span. From the time that I thought I lost my virginity to 15, all of this is happening. So I run away again. My dad, he thinks he's going to put me in private school, thinks it's going to help me out. It's not. It's worse there. Didn't want to do that either. I'm being rejected everywhere I go. Nobody wants me. My parents don't want me. My siblings are fighting with me. My parents are fighting. It's just terrible. So I run away again, and I never go back. This time I am gone for good. So that is the second part of my testimony that I have pretty much time for right now. As you can see, there was a lot that happened in my teenage years, but mind you, my childhood wasn't good either. So it was just a lot that was going on. I was experiencing a lot of rejection. I was experiencing a lot of abandonment, doing drugs. I was fornicating. I was not feeling wanted no matter where I went. It was just a lot of things that were just piling up. I was being just broken down in just so many ways that I just could not take it anymore. And my escape route was to run away. That was all I needed to do, was to run away. I was always afraid to go back home. I knew I was going to be rejected. I knew I wasn't going to be loved there. So I was just always afraid. I never wanted to be home. I never wanted to be there. So experiencing a lot of that rejection, we have drugs involved, we have rejection, we have abandonment, we have another form of rape happening again to me. So there was just a lot of things that were just so bad. But God still continued to keep me. I could have been trafficked. I could have been killed. I could have been, so many things could have happened to me, but he still kept me and he still stayed with me even through these times, because I believe that my parents were always still praying for me. The church was always still praying for me. I I knew I had God, but I was rejecting him too, because I was feeling rejected everywhere. And I thought that being in the world was safe. I thought that being in the world was okay. I wasn't experiencing the things that the rejection and abandonment and just the constant quarrels that I was experiencing in the church and in my household. I wasn't experiencing that in the world. People were taking to me. I was making friends, they're introducing me to drugs. I had a friend that was teaching me how to drive. I just was thinking that this was good. It really wasn't good. So there were just a lot of things that, was happening. And I, just want to share some thoughts and some reflections on rejection, and a Bible verse that I know today has helped me with that too. So Psalms 27, it says, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." So even when people you depend on the most walk away, God steps in as the one who will never abandon you. So he's never abandoned me through these moments, through these times that I was going through everything that I was doing, the drugs, the fornication, the running away from home. Like, he kept me. And I know he did, because I could have been dead. I could have overdosed on drugs. I could have been trafficked. Someone could have killed me. And that didn't happen. And strongholds of addictions, I experienced strongholds of addiction even through my adult life, but being introduced to drugs in such an early age, on top of the graping and the molestation, that just added another stronghold to my life. And believe me, the third part of my testimony will go through that, and it was a lot. I can see where the strongholds actually really took into effect. So in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4 and 5, it says, "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds." So God's word and his spirit are your weapons, okay? The addiction, the craving, the shame that I was experiencing, they are no match for the power of God. So they are no match for the power of God. So I just want to, just speak to those that have dealt with strongholds, that have dealt with, feelings of rejection and abandonment. God is not going to abandon you. Even though you might feel that at that time, he's not. And here goes a verse for, that will help anyone on abandonment. But Deuteronomy 31, verse 8, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." So you are not walking alone, okay? God is walking ahead of you. So he's preparing your restoration. So even though you might think God is not there, he is there. He's kind of just waiting for you. So he's always waiting for you. And that's what we need to know in this world. Don't think that this person has abandonment because God has already, he's there with you. He is ordering your steps and he will never abandon you. And I believe that because even being through these days that I'm living right now, I'm just reflecting on my life, even talking to you guys about the things that I went through and just reflecting on my life. And I'm like, man, he was always there. Like just experiencing some things. I'm like, how did I get out of that? God was there. So I just want to encourage anyone who is out there. And if you've been rejected, know this rejection redirects. If you've been abandoned, remember you are still adored, okay? If you're fighting a stronghold, understand that the battle is not yours. It's the Lord's. You can start again, even from your lowest point, because God specializes in resurrection stories. So this is what he does, okay? Jesus died on the cross and he resurrected in 3 days. And even if you are at your lowest, God can get you through that. So don't think that he cannot. You just have to completely surrender your life to him. Go to the altar of salvation. Go to the altar of surrender and surrender your life and gain back your salvation, okay? So I want to pray with you guys before I get off of here. And I, just let me pray for you guys right quick, all right? So Father God, we come before you broken but hopeful. We lift up every heart listening that's been crushed by rejection, weighed down by addiction, or left empty by abandonment. Lord, remind us that you are close to the brokenhearted and that you save those crushed in the spirit. Break every chain of addiction, shame, and fear. Heal the wounds left to people who walked away. Teach us to see rejection not as punishment, but as your redirection toward purpose. We declare freedom in the name of Jesus, freedom from rejection, from strongholds, and from every lie that says we are not enough. We receive your love, your peace, and your new beginning in Jesus' name. Amen. Remember, you are not what you lost. You are what you survived. Keep walking in faith. Keep healing. And I pray that this will help anyone who is battling with drug use, abandonment, rejection. I pray that you watch this and that it opens up your door to your testimony. And, just reflecting on the things that I've been through, I would have not been brave enough to share this with you guys. So I thank you for that safe space that you guys have created for me to be able to share the messages that I have received from people about my video and just helping women that I didn't think, or helping men as well, that I didn't think that I was even helping. So I just want to, just say that you're in the right place, you're in the safe place. And if you have any stories that you want to share and you are afraid to share them, I will share them for you. You can email me and we will talk and I will pray with you and help you through your situation. And believe me, there's always someone out there to help you. Okay? Don't think that you are alone, because you are not. And never think that you're without God, because you are not. So thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next segment or the next episode of my podcast. And I appreciate you all. All right? Have a good night. And you're listening to Whomever Will Listen podcast.